It is Monday, 2nd day of June 2025. Welcome to the Lord Abwaga TV newspaper review. Straight away, we go onto the Standard, whereby the main headline reads, Ruto, Raila, hypocrisy. The Standard goes ahead and writes, President Ruto's whispered apology at National Prayer Breakfast rang hollow days later as activist Rose Njeri was seized for creating a platform for Kenyans to discuss latest tax measures. Over 72 hours on, she remains in police custody. Even Raila Odinga's poetic defense of the regime fell flat for Kenyans enduring rising repression, broken promises, and brutal crackdowns. That is what the Standard has written. But I think President William Samoei Ruto and Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, they're just but trying to play games on Kenyans so that they can be seen in one or another trying to work for the good of Kenyans. But deep down, they are just for the sake of enriching themselves and their close cronies. Because Raila Amolo Odinga, when he is with President William Samoei Ruto on the same platform, he keeps on saying that the government is supposed to compensate Kenyans who lost their lives, Kenyans who were injured during the Gen Z protests and the 2023 opposition-led protests.
2 years ago, we were on the streets. And even last year, they were on the streets, the Gen Zs. I saw that during the prayer breakfast recently this week, there was apologies that were being made.
To our children, if there is any misstep, we apologize. To our neighbors, if there is any misstep that we have done, we want to build the relationship that will make our country great.
The Speaker and yourself, which is wonderful, as a first step to reconciliation. But then there's the issue of people who are injured. Some people who died during that time. I want today to say that we should do compensation to families of those who died and those who are injured so that we can have a closure to this chapter of our national history today. We want Kenyans to live in peace and in unity. Yothurwa. Unenogi wanenoni. Wije maber. Uroko welu. Ameari wani yothura mondo riure kwa dhi nyime. Wange kumadwa dhi. Wange kumae. Wange kumatimunadi. Kumadhi. Your Excellency, thank you very much. Long live Kenya. Asante.
But deep down, I understand very well. If Raila Amolo Odinga was true to his word, now the broad-based government has gone for close to 1 year. Raila Amolo Odinga would have talked to President William Samoei Ruto so that payments and compensations for people who lost their lives, for people who were injured during the protest, would have been compensated. Again, it is the very same Raila Amolo Odinga who speaks in defense to Kenyans who are supposed to express their freedoms and expressions. But at the same time, the Kenya Kwanza-led administration is still abducting and incarcerating Kenyans without a criminal offense. For instance, there is this lady who was arrested on Thursday, that is Rose Njeri. The only mistake that this lady committed was to create a website whereby Kenyans would discuss what is entailed in the 2025-2026 finance bill. That is sad, because the only mistake to this lady is creating a website whereby Kenyans can express themselves onto that website on what they think should be done and on what they think should be amended on the 2024-2025 finance bill. That is the only mistake that Rose Njeri committed. Now here, she was arrested on Thursday. She was in sales on Friday. She was in sales on Saturday. She was in sales on Sunday. Today is Monday. Remember, today was declared a public holiday. She'll again spend the whole of the day and night in sales. The only mistake, creating a website for Kenyans to discuss the Finance Bill 2025-2026. And here, we saw Raila Amolo Odinga yesterday trying to talk in a manner suggesting to the people that in one or another, he is criticizing the government from inside.
Over the years, Your Excellency, there were changes. Eventually, when we struggled, we brought back devolution in our constitution. This devolution, Your Excellency, has had several challenges. But I want to invite you, Your Excellency, to ensure that devolution works. Empower the devolution. Number one, by giving more resources coming down to the counties. Let the counties have sufficient resources so that they can be able to provide services to the people. And then there are also some services which were not devolved. But, Your Excellency, those services which are not devolved can be delegated. Delegated to be implemented by the county government. But, Your Excellency, I want to plead with you, do not resurrect provincial administration. Provincial administration is a relic of colonialism that has no place today in a free and independent Kenya. We want to see that the governors get sufficient resources to do their work. And then they are also going to be supervised by other institutions. We want also our members of parliament to continue to do their work effectively by representing, legislating, and oversighting the national government, but allow the development to be done by the county government themselves.
You know, these people, this is hypocrisy of the highest order. Because Raila Amolo Odinga is the very, very Raila Amolo Odinga we know. He just speaks when it best suits him. I think that is what we have onto the standard. Straight away we move onto the Daily Nation, whereby the main headline reads, Gen Z shadow looms over Madaraka Day. The Daily Nation goes ahead and writes, for the second time in 5 days, President Ruto has been prompted to address the killing, abduction, and enforced disappearance of youthful protesters during anti-tax demos in June last year. After half-hearted apology on Wednesday, the president yesterday night avoided responding to a direct request for compensation of victims' days to the first anniversary of brutal state crackdowns. This is what Raila Amolo Odinga said in regards to our country, Kenya. Mr. President, I heard your apology. It was a commendable first step towards reconciliation, but we must also go further. Families who lost their kins and those who were manhandled deserve compensation. Only them can truly turn this painful page of our national history. That is what Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga told President William Samoei Ruto yesterday at the Madaraka celebrations.
But then there's the issue of people who are injured. Some people who died during that time. I want today to say that we should do compensation to families of those who died and those who are injured, so that we can have a closure to this chapter of our national history.
And here President William Samoei Ruto said, I speak with deep conviction that our country is firmly on the path to stability and progress. We have weathered turbulent times, navigated serious challenges, and through courageous policy decisions pursued with resolve, we have not only established our economy, but also chartered a clear course to long-term prosperity. That is what President William Samoei Ruto gave in response when Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga talked about compensating Kenyans who got injured, Kenyans who lost their lives during last year's Gen Z protests. That is what President William Samoei Ruto had to say. Don't have much onto our newspaper reviews. For these and many more, subscribe onto our YouTube channel at Lord Abwoga TV. Remember to press the notification bell so that when we come up with this interesting political and governance content, YouTube will automatically notify you. Till next time, goodbye.